I noticed we all kind of tried to do
Christmassy.
Like you have a full out Christmas sweatshirt. Mm-hmm. You have a Christmas themed T-shirt of Betty Jones. Mm. No, sorry, Letty Gones. No,
Letty Zeppelin.
Wetty Cones.
Yep.
Yeah, gross. and I've got a red flannel.
Yeah.
No, this is the appropriate, especially I think for 3 dudes.
Yeah.
This is not only appropriate, but these 3 different takes are appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, I pitched that for the entirety of December, we all wear Christmas onesies.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I pitched it. You guys didn't love it. And I mainly pitched it because I found a Christmas-themed onesie that actually fits me.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And, well, it kind of fits me. It's tight in one area.
We put it to a secret ballot, and I voted yes.
Yeah. And I think the secret ballot business is nonsense.
Chuck counted the ballots.
We all know. We all know each other's handwriting. You've got those little hearts, Brad, on the eyes.
I've got the backwards R's.
Yeah, I do anarchy A's.
we all use personalized stationery to vote.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's see. 1 vote for from the desk of Chuck Staten.
Yes.
Ew.
Yeah.
We did a little mini series of videos of Brad and I putting together our Christmas show a few years ago. You were on that show, and one of the things that I loved in it is I bought us these very gaudy, awful Christmas suit jackets. Mine was black.
Oh, that's
and his
right.
was
Yeah.
And in the first episode, I say we're going to wear these all month long so that everyone remembers our show coming up, and he says he won't. Then in the last episode, he says you wore it all month long, and he goes, "I wore it to my Aunt Dorothy's funeral."
That's
and I'm
fun.
like, "Oh, I was exaggerating with it."
Yeah.
But that callback, I was like, I think I wore it once or twice. I don't know if I mean all month long. And it's the callback I was very happy with. It was
like
very
that.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved that mini series.
Sorry. No, I also love that miniseries.
I just wish
They're fun videos.
I wish we had a little bit more gear at the time because like
Heroin?
I have those awesome lavs now, and at the time we didn't have it. We had a boom guy who did a good job. It was just we were filming outside all over the place.
The guy at Costco?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right.
The boom guy.
Yeah.
With his child that he's absolutely... Have you seen these videos?
I've seen, like, they were on the Tonight Show,
Yeah.
and so I saw the context, and I think they were in AEW.
Okay.
They had a
he
wrestling
wants to be a
match
wrestler.
recently.
Yeah, the dad. There's a family from kind of your area. I think they
Which
might
area?
be Long Island or New Jersey.
Okay.
But it's in the flavor. It's in the flavor of a Staten Island, right?
Right.
And they
They got some Wawas, is what we're talking about.
Yes.
okay, so they went to Costco, this father and son, and they would make these videos like, "We're Costco guys. Of course we get the big slab of meat or whatever."
Yeah.
And it took off and became viral, and so they keep doing it, and they have now more people. They've started bringing in the family, the wife and the daughter, and all these other people. Now there's tertiary friend characters. This little fat boy named the Rizzler,
Yeah.
and like,
I know him. Oh,
Yeah.
I did see him on Jimmy Fallon.
yeah. So, and Jimmy Fallon's like seething contempt. That's the first time I've ever felt relatable to Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. Is he really? I
yeah.
think it just came up quick on like a dumb.
But so these they just do this, and they're continuing to do it. They do the Costco things. It's weird. And then I realized what it is now because they have this whole cast of characters.
Yeah.
It's just social media era Jersey Shore. That's all it is. Okay. It's the family. As soon as you see the father and son, you're like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't want
They
to
would have an MTV show in 2002.
I don't want to disparage any people,
I'll disparage the shit out of them.
but I think about the fact that there's some people who have podcasts and stuff that do really well in viral clips, and in the world of comedy, and there is a lot of people with heavy accents from a specific place. So, like, Are You Garbage? Kevin Ryan was on our show. He's a wicked nice guy. He's super funny, and they have a legitimately really good podcast, I believe.
Sure.
However, I do wonder if it's like, hey, like, does that grab people in a way that grabs people more than like, yeah, so I went down to the street and blah blah blah.
Right. Oh no.
And I think about Chris DiStefano.
Sure. No, as a stand-up comic, I have thought about this many times. The idea of having some kind of accent.
It's like a hook.
I think Midwest accents can work for that. There's a lot of accents that can work for that. I will say though that the Costco guy family,
Yeah.
that's like a different level. it's like, yeah, they have the accents, but it gets to that. It gets to they're snooky. Does that make sense?
I
it
get
just
it.
gets to the snooky era of things.
I'm kind of commenting on the fact that I think it helps hook.
Sure.
That's what I'm wondering. And I've never really heard anyone talk about that kind of stuff, but it does seem like, I mean, like Mitch Hedberg.
Sure.
Like he's a legitimate, excellent joke writer. Great talent.
He really
And
dropped off
Might
a
be
while back.
his. Yeah.
And
I think he got canceled.
is there,
Did he?
is there a part of it that's like, well, part of this hook that brings people in is his incredibly unique.
Oh,
cadence.
yeah.
You know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. And then you saw like a bunch of comics at open mics after genuinely like taking on the cadence. That's happened with like Bill Burr, even. Dave Attell for sure.
Okay.
There's just a lot of there's so I mean, oh man, I just drew a blank on his name.
Henny Youngman.
No.
Oh.
The Italian Maniscalco, Sebastian
Oh,
Maniscalco.
that's the craziest one.
I mean, that guy owes everything to.
I heard he's funny. I heard he's funny.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. I'm not knocking. him,
agreed.
but-
Agreed. I think
Yeah.
that there's talentless people on TikTok that helps, and
Yeah.
then I think there's legitimate, very funny people that it helps as well.
Yeah.
And he's one of those. But yeah, like his are crazy because I've seen people
Yeah.
just do impressions and stuff as well as clips, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just mind blowing.
Like you can say, I put the leftover chicken in the Tupperware, and that's the line, right? But with Maniscalco, it's just like, I put the chicken in the Tupperware, And I'm like, all right. Listen, we got to speed this up, pal. You know what I mean? Speaking of speeding things up,
Let me try something.
yes.
Hey yo, welcome to Funbearable.
See, like we would get way more views if that was out there.
Oh no, we would get canceled if that was out there.
I'm Brad. Roll.
yeah, that's
Oh
pretty
god,
good.
I'm Ray. Definitely distancing myself, Harrington.
I'm Chuck, proud of him stating.
Here's what I worry about.
I told you guys I don't do voices.
You could take the clip of you doing that out of context.
Please do.
Someone nefarious could post it and go, look at this man making fun of a special needs person.
That's
No, I was
true,
making
too.
fun of
it's
an Italian.
It's Italian.
What's the difference?
Come on. Come on. They both love their moms. They love spaghetti.
That's a good
This
bit.
is getting bad.
Do it.
No.
Please commit to doing it.
Yes. Okay. On the next show I do, I'll be like, I've been thinking about it. Italians, they're kind of like.
There's two types of people.
Oh, don't do that. Who knew that this Christmas episode would be our last?
I suspected.
That's fair.
That's great. Oh, I was going to say something. I forgot, but that's okay.
It's all right. We'll get there.
Yeah,
Don't worry
we'll
about
remember it.
But we are here for Christmas time. It's
Yep.
casual Christmas.
It's casual.
TM.
I think a lot of podcasts have the Christmas episode, and I not prefer, but I and just as much I enjoy the December recordings that are like sprinkled with Christmas around it. They're not doing their big things yet.
Yeah.
But they're all talking about, it's getting
Yeah,
busy.
we're in the
Black Friday.
season. It's 'tis the season.
Yeah.
Not 'tis the day.
Yeah, I remember what I was going to say.
Okay.
It was before we recorded, so I don't know if this is good for air.
Nope.
Nope. Save it.
Okay.
If
Write it
it's,
down.
I think it's your views on the Israel-Palestine conflict.
I was just
right?
going to tell you that I don't know what your deal is personally with streaming services, but
Yeah.
there is a good deal that you might want to look at this Black Friday.
Oh, okay.
They're doing a bundle of Disney, Hulu, and HBO ad-free all together for like $27 a month.
Yeah, I have some kind of package. It might be that package.
Well, I think they lowered it.
Yeah.
Like the usual price is much higher.
Oh my God. You'd have to be Italian not to take up that.
What am I, Italian?
Yeah, what am I, Italian? You got to do the hand. You got to do the hand.
I don't know if that's exactly right,
The
but-
chef's kiss hand.
Yeah.
I think that should be our new runner. That like we create this thing. You know how for a long time it was like, oh, Polish people are dumb, right?
Yeah.
I think we need to introduce that Italians are. Let's create a new stereotype.
I think so.
Is this good?
We're solid on Italians for a while.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be okay to make fun of for a long time.
Oh, sure.
If not forever.
Yeah, because I have one word in response to any Italian that would be like, that's insensitive. I'd be like, oh, really? A Mussolini. And that's all I have to say. The Hitler of pasta.
Do we each have an evil dictator? All the races?
Spaghetti-Olf Hitler, is that something?
Let me think.
What do you mean?
That was better than either of their reactions, and it infuriates me.
Did you hear what he said? Do we all have a dictator? Do all the races have a dictator?
Oh, okay.
And that's what I was. That's what I was focused on.
Yeah.
Spaghetti Hitler.
Spaghetti Hitler.
Very good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. Very good.
Fettuccine Adolf Hitler. No, that one's not. But Spaghetti Hitler is better.
I think Spaghetti Hitler is funny.
Merry Christmas, everybody. So let's revisit your pondering here, your quandary.
Just thinking,
Pole pasta.
Pol pasta. Ooh.
Germany
Pol pot stickers.
has the big bad Hitler.
Yeah.
Italians have Mussolini.
We're currently rating all of the despots. That's what we're doing. We have an S tier. Hitler goes in the S tier.
We have an FMK situation. here.
Who's Saddam Hussein? Who is that guy?
Well, we're really real quick though. Like doing rating of them is very popular on YouTube. There's so many videos of this where like this goes in the S tier, A, B, C, and this is what we can do to really get more viewers and
We
listeners.
should do it with accents, though. All right. You said you wanted me to do a Jamaican accent?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Here we go.
Oh, me now.
So other despots, Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, bad
is
guy.
What you brought up. Yeah,
Who is he? What?
I think he's safely in the let's say a Middle East cornucopia of people and places.
Middle Eastern?
Yeah, I just don't want to say that.
Are we doing just despots or war criminals? Because George W. Bush.
I mean, yeah, we have American.
That's what I'm
ones,
wondering.
Yeah, and also we can go further back. You know what I mean?
what
We
I'm
can
saying.
talk about the atrocities
Robert E.
of the
Lee?
Native Americans.
Those things?
Sure.
And so is Fidel Castro one, do you think? Would that count?
Castro, we're getting into a territory that's a little complicated where it's like there are people that did bad things, but also America chose to rub out. And a good way to do that is to vilify said people. Does that make sense?
So Fidel
I'm not
Castro-
I'm not saying Fidel Castro is an innocent man.
America labeled them stinkers.
Right.
And the people who were like really good in school are like, well, those people are stinkers forevermore.
Right. So it is a little complicated.
So maybe like those people really aren't at fault.
Napoleon?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Napoleon?
Bonaparte.
Mankind.
Yeah, maybe that's one. Could we use that? Genghis Khan. We got to go with the Khan.
Alexander the maybe not so great.
So
yeah.
So what are the places that don't have one of these guys?
I think Monaco has been okay.
That's a funny answer.
Canada?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. But they've treated First Nations people pretty poorly.
Yeah.
But those
that
are
true?
British people.
I was about to say Australia, but then I remembered the Aboriginal people. They're not great with that.
So we're all kind of
I think historically,
We're all kind of
everywhere's a little
Everywhere's
rough.
bad.
Everything kind of sucks
Yeah.
if you look back.
I think that's pretty good.
Andora's
Christmas.
probably been okay.
I know one place.
There we go. You got it.
The North Pole.
I will say, in terms of creating optimism in the room, I listened to a psychology podcast called No Stupid Questions.
Yep.
And they just did an episode, and I highly recommend it, about pessimism.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
fun.
It's really interesting. It's like basically the study of pessimism and
Brad was on?
how does it grow and wane in different generations.
Final boss.
And they talked about the fact that, like, if you talk to people in a young age group in 2024,
Yeah.
and there's like they did a study. It's these two, psychologists. They said that they're very pessimistic about the future, but then when you actually just compare the truth about humanity of the past, like 50 years, past 75 years, 100,
Yeah.
like things have it's like here's how many infants used to die like 75
sure,
years
sure.
ago.
Yeah.
The percentage of this,
Yeah.
in in their first whatever, versus now, and everything that's big like that is like way down. So a lot of pessimism is really about really zooming in and focusing on, like, right this second, what could be better. But if you actually zoom out, there's a lot more, like, there's a much more legitimate, optimistic way to look at like how the world has progressed.
I would say yes, I agree. Obviously, if you stretch the timeline out, things are better. We have medicines, we have
but
electricity,
even
right?
pretty recently too.
Sure. I mean, the 70s were pretty politically insane in this country, and I feel like people forget about that because we weren't alive then.
Right.
Well,
That's what I mean.
Brand.
That's kind of their whole point.
yeah. However, I would argue.
Which 70s?
Oh, that's yeah.
Good call.
You kept saying we shouldn't leave
Yep.
the Britain.
Yep.
We shouldn't.
I feel comfortable with Ray on this episode because your red overshirt is kind of like a red coat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that's my
you
side.
punched John Adams.
Yeah. Well, he got in the way.
Son of a bitch. Yeah. There was a deleted scene in the show, the John Adams miniseries, where there was a guy named Brad Rohr, and he came up and he socked him. But my point was, yes, I think things have gotten better. I would also say
I was aiming for Abigail.
I would also say that I think a lot of the the younger generation saying, here's why I'm pessimistic, here's what I'm looking at, creates the change that does ultimately, when you stretch it out, become the positive.
Right.
I think so too. I think so too. I completely agree with that. I mean, it's one of those things where I'm like, if you argue against two things, you're going to lose. One of them is technology moving forward.
Yep.
And one of them is the ideals of the youth.
Yeah.
Those are the two things that's like, no, ultimately you are going to be on the losing side of this thing.
Totally.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great podcast. I think it really is cool and very optimistic.
I love that.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Let's get a little Christmassy up in this joint,
Let's.
up in this piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This piece of joint.
I want to tell you guys about this because this happened recently, and I saved this story for the podcast.
Yes.
I was doing a show in Auburn, Maine, at the River City Comedy Club. Really fun.
Okay.
Always enjoy going up there. It's always packed, and it has always been a really fun show, right? So I was doing some crowd work, and I didn't film this show, and I regret that because I had a genuinely wonderful interaction with a woman who had just moved from Alaska.
Ooh.
Right?
Yep.
She moved from Alaska. The town she lived in was called North Pole, Alaska.
Nice.
Right?
Very good.
Her job was a reindeer wrangler.
Oh, that is weird.
We're getting Christmassy as hell.
Yeah.
When someone says, "What's your job?" and you say, "I'm a reindeer wrangler at the North Pole."
Yeah. I'm like immediately like, okay, stop fucking around.
Yeah,
you know?
institutionalize that
Yeah,
person.
I asked her about like how do you explain that in an interview? You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? I was a reindeer wrangler. Bullshit. Let me see the hoof marks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I asked her about that experience and things like that, and I was also told that the mayor of North Pole is a man
No.
named
Nope.
No, don't you
Don't
dare.
do it.
Santa Claus.
No, he's not.
Yes, he legally changed his name
Okay.
to Santa Claus.
All right. That's something Chuck would do.
I was just gonna say, if I was ever elected mayor of the North Pole, if you think I'm not changing my name to Santa Claus, you're fucking insane.
If you were mayor of Warren, Rhode Island, you would change your name to Santa Claus. And you would have a ceremony where you give yourself the key to the city.
no, I'd have my own.
And this
do
one
it.
really works. Oh, yeah. So he's the mayor of the North Pole, Alaska. And this woman was a reindeer wrangler. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
I asked, were there any scandals
Ooh,
with
that's
the
a good
mayor?
question.
That's
Yeah.
a really good, right?
Yep.
I want to know. So apparently, no longer the mayor.
Oh, how come?
Spill,
He was voted.
spill the hot cocoa.
Yeah. Ooh, he was voted out.
Okay.
Another candidate won, and he didn't take it well.
Oh no, Santa.
What did
He
do?
didn't take it well. He just did. She didn't elucidate the
Well-
situation, but the idea of a man named, here's what, like, in my heart, this is what I find funny in the world.
Yeah.
It's not that there's a mayor named Santa Claus in a town called North Pole.
I find that funny
It's
in my heart.
That's
I
funny.
find it
Yeah.
novel and
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, okay.
It's whimsical.
Yeah.
The real comedy for me that lives in this is him losing that election.
Oh, me too. I was just gonna say that's what's the sentence. Santa Claus. You go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Like the fact that he went home that night and talked to Mrs.
Claus.
Claus, right? And was like, they made me turn in my badge and my gum. Right? But I'm Santa Claus, damn it.
We have received the votes from the North Pole, Alaska. All precincts reporting.
He's all cocky. He's like, yes, okay, we'll do this on a technicality.
Yeah.
With 1,340 votes, we have incumbent Santa Claus.
Yeah. Oh, that's a little. What were their names?
But with 1,360 votes, we have the winner, Krampus Grinch.
Steve Hanukkah.
Hi. He's not Jewish. He's not Jewish. He's not Jewish.
He changed his name.
It's Urkel.
Okay. He's Italian.
Did I do that?
Merry Christmas. I want to hear Sebastian Maniscalco read "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
No.
It would take 4 hours. Not a creature was stirring.
It's like, I don't hear anything. It's like, he's pursing his lips. Hold on.
But yeah, the idea of that man losing that election and his name is Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think legally he should lose the name if he loses
Absolutely, yeah.
that. I think the new guy should be Santa.
It's like a James Bond situation.
Yes.
I just picture him at like the next town hall meeting. He's on his mountaintop and he's looking and he's like,
yeah.
he's got his dog.
Yeah.
Singing and yeah.
He slips and falls into wet paint that is green.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody's making a Christmas sign.
Yeah.
Right. And he's all green. And it's oh my God, I just drew a blank on his name. Oh no, the actor who played John Adams.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti, thank you. And The Holdovers, which is an amazing Christmas
wanna
movie.
watch it.
Instant every Christmas movie
Yeah.
for me. The
Wow.
Holdovers.
That's a banger.
I gotta
it's-
watch it.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
you do.
It's really good.
I should watch it.
You should watch it.
We're in
I
Christmas
gotta watch
casual
this
time.
thing.
Yeah. Just keep going. Let's just make little clips we can cut to you. Like Brad and I will talk about things we like, and then it'll just cut every once in a while to, ooh, I gotta check that out.
You know, guys, I can't be here today.
That's on the watch list.
Well, then it's Ray and I are like, wow, the new season of Taskmaster is great, and then it's like media not found.
File not found. Yeah. No,
Man,
Paul Giamatti would absolutely be
A great
this
disgraced mayor
yes,
from
yes,
North
Santa.
Well,
He played Santa.
Yeah.
yeah. I wish you filmed that though. It's so.
I know.
Man, that's such a bump.
These are those moments.
Ray's doing a whole like TikTok campaign. You just got 1 million views.
2 million.
2 million.
Yeah.
He's a TikTok comedian
also,
now.
No. And also TikTok campaign.
Yeah.
If by campaign, here's my TikTok campaign. I film my sets when I manage to convince myself to do so, right? I am my own worst enemy with that. I don't film a majority of my sets. I don't bring my camera. I find it all to be very much a hassle. It takes my mind off of comedy and puts me into like, I got to find this spot and I got to move this and I got to hit record, all that stuff. And then what I will do is I find clips, I get them made up, and then I put them on Instagram primarily. I'll throw them on Facebook just as an afterthought. And then very recently, open TikTok long enough to post the video.
Yeah.
Close TikTok and never look at it until I post another video. That's my TikTok campaign.
Yeah.
But for some reason, that Bit O' Honey clip.
Yeah.
That's because people love that.
I know, but it hit 2 million, and I'm just like, great. What does it mean? I learned nothing from this.
Well, now you can put
You know?
I'm from TikTok on
Yes.
all your show flyers.
Oh yeah, Ray Harrington from TikTok.
You can be the new Rizzler.
Ooh,
Rizzler
Oh,
Jr.
yeah, that's right. You were just criticizing the Rizzler. You're blowing him out of the water.
you know what? Hey, Rizzler, I challenge you to a fucking fight. I will fucking destroy you, Rizzler, and I will eat your chicken bake, I think is
Oh,
something.
yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I will eat your chicken bake.
What do
I
they
will
say?
take it
Do
from
they
your
say
stupid hands and
Bam?
I'll eat it.
Do they say pow? What do they say? Boom, of
Boom.
course.
I'm gonna boom your mother, Rizzler.
Wow.
Oh, is she cute?
I have no idea. I've never seen this woman, but I will boom all over the Rizzler's ma.
You know what they don't do?
They call me the never mind. Nope.
the Jizzler.
He got there. Do you smell smoke?
You know, they do a lot of like son of blank. Like they did like
Yeah.
and
Son of Mask.
son of Frankenstein,
Yeah.
son of
A bitch.
there's another one that's a big
Because now you're messing with one.
son of Kong. That's what it is. Bride of this. They never do parents.
Oh yeah.
That's
Parents
an
of
interesting
Frankenstein?
They've never
Yeah.
done. There's never been a father of this, mother of this.
Hey, Father of the Bride.
Father of the bride
Mommy
is not
dearest.
really, but that's not like a threat.
Father of electricity,
Father of-
Thomas Edison.
Like I think, in other words, I mean, they
Father
don't.
of the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell.
Mother
No,
of
they don't
our-
have like
mother
a
of our
character
country,
that's
Betsy Ross.
that has a presence, and then be like, this person is related to them. But they do that
yeah.
with bride and son.
Yeah.
But they don't do it with
uncles or aunts.
Yes.
The aunt of Frankenstein.
Godzilla.
Oh, I was
Aunt of Godzilla. I didn't realize lizards had a family hierarchy.
Well, they do Son of Kong.
the ex-husband of the aunt of the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Of the creature. Wow. It's Sebastian.
That is fun.
Hey, right? That's fun.
Dr. Jekyll and his third cousin.
Hi.
Hey,
Hey,
I haven't seen you since the reunion.
huh? Just a lot. Huh? Oh,
So
but yeah,
I've been really busy with medical school.
that interaction was absolutely delightful. It's those moments where I am like, why don't I record every single show? But it was such a beautiful moment. And you know what, though? I'm glad that it existed in that space.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was there to really enjoy.
Yeah.
I should have like gotten her information so I could get more of this
for sure.
story.
Yeah.
But I'm not in the habit of
Yeah.
I'm not in the habit of saying to women at my shows,
What's your
what's your
Instagram?
email? What's your
Yeah.
oh no, Instagram's your move, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Do you know the Rizzler? That's what I say to everybody because I'm looking to fight.
It's funny. So with a senior discount with my band, we used to do the exact same thing where I'm like, sometimes we'll bring a camera, like maybe we'll set it up.
Yeah.
Like, are we going to do anything with this? Should we film this show? This show might be okay. Who cares? And every time I didn't film, I regretted it.
I know.
So
it
then
sucks.
when we started doing the Chuck and Brad shows, I was kind of like, just to myself, honestly, not even to Brad. I was just like, we just film every show. Just
Yeah,
because,
I haven't signed any waivers or anything.
well, it's just
Really?
like,
No release forms?
You know what it is? You're never going to regret filming it, and you're for sure going to regret not filming it sometimes. But it's a pain.
For me,
hear
I've
ya.
talked to other comics and we kind of bitch about this thing.
Yeah.
And like I've been doing crowd work and riffing. I really like that space. And
Yeah.
I've been doing it since before it became the norm and the thing, right?
Yeah.
The issue is I never was filming it and putting it out. And I have so many comics that are just like, I mean, you're like the best comic for this thing. You should be doing it. And
yeah,
I'm
your
like,
TikTok campaign.
Yeah,
exactly.
TikTok comic.
But it drives me crazy because I do have issue with setting up. I don't like
hear you.
schlepping all the gear to
Yeah.
the place. I don't like picking out a spot. And there's a part of me
It feels like the mystique is gone.
it's completely gone. And I feel like, if I'm like headlining a club and I have to bring a camera and people are there, not all the people, but a good amount of people are there specifically to see me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like the biggest amateur in the world when I come out with my tripod and I set up, and occasionally it's been like people sitting at a table and I'm like, hi, just setting this up.
Oh,
it just
do.
ruins it. You know what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
If you read the ICP autobiography, which is worth a read,
I can't pee? Is that?
Insane Clown Posse.
Oh.
They say, just make sure you have people that work for you, so the crowd doesn't see you whatsoever until you're on stage.
Sure, yeah.
And
Yeah.
ICP.
I guess I'm really with those clowns.
it's tough. Yeah, it's a tough thing. I mean, what you want is.
I mean,
when
we're
it-
both clowns if you think about it.
I'm just sane, and I'm singular. But it sucks because what you want is you just want to be at the level where there's a guy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got a guy.
Yeah.
You got a guy that does your merch.
Yep.
You got a guy that does your merch and sets it up. And I got to be honest, I wonder at what level that's worth it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And depending on who it is and how much
Sure.
what they want. You
Well,
know what I mean?
it's like friend of the pod, Mark Norman said, like it used to be living in New York. Your opener, you would pick openers that had a car, so they
Yep.
could drive you to the show, and now you pick openers that have a good camera.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
That's what it is. It's all weird.
Hey, Finn, get in the car.
Yeah. Huh?
It's take your son to work, Dad.
Bruh. Are you going to do one of your Italian impression shows? That's my new TikTok campaign.
my
there
dad,
we go.
my dad's a TikTok comic.
Yeah, it cuts to me. I'm fully decked out as Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
And I'm just, That's,
And the crowd. Woo!
I would love that.
That's something
big
we
foam chef
recognize.
kiss hands.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
yeah.
god. Yeah, I'm the new guy on the pizza box.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I love that pizza box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I would frame
Huge
it.
fan. But it is crazy. Like after that TikTok video happened, like I went to go rent a car because I was driving to shows in upstate New York, and I'm walking through a parking garage in the airport. And there's an employee walking by and like does a double take and stops and goes, "Are you a comedian?" And I'm like, "Yep." And he's like, "Oh, I just saw your video." And I was like, which video? 'Cause
Yeah.
I already knew, but like, which video? And he's like, with the candy. And I'm like, yeah, all right. It was Sebastian Maniscalco.
Yeah,
He's like, wow, that was good. You know? So,
Yeah.
but it is weird where I'm just like, okay, thank you. I write stuff.
Yeah.
I craft it.
I don't. I
know?
think. I mean, me. I don't know how you feel about this. I do think that while there is a lot of debate behind the scenes with people that work in the comedy world
Yeah.
about the merits of crowd work and all this kind of stuff, I do think that to the average person, I don't know if they really even understand the difference.
And that's
at
fine.
all.
And I understand.
You know what I
it's
mean?
just it's tough when a really good moment happens, like that interaction with a reindeer wrangler.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I'm like, that's why you record, because you have a great moment. But it's the absolute white noise wave,
Of course.
Yeah.
after wave of crowd work clips that are essentially just
I know
nothing.
Yeah.
You know,
the idea of the fact, and it's 100% true, that there's a vast difference in quality of crowd work.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
insane. And like I think
Yeah.
it's just tough.
I mean, there was the comedian who somebody threw a beer at her,
right.
and I'm like, oh, could we replicate that with Ray? But we can't use a beer. Like, it's been done. Could
Right.
I throw like a knife at you from off stage?
That
and
has
like,
not happened. I've had things thrown at me. Though.
but like you would know that I'm probably not going to hit you with the knife. So,
Right.
but like the audience doesn't know that.
Yeah. I would hate for that to be like end up being the first knife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
true. You want a
like
legitimate-
a riot. There's always that first brick that is
Okay.
thrown.
Yeah.
You know what's a weird thing, and I want to, we'll dance around some stuff. We've had ideas that we can't put out in public yet. But we were talking about them. Do you remember last year? I'm sure you saw it come up at some point that Mark Normand, my buddy, was on stage in a comedy club, and a woman came up.
Yeah.
Do you remember all this stuff?
Yeah. But
So
it was
do you know
for
what it was?
a filmed thing. Yeah.
It was for Donald Glover's Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Gotcha.
And I think what happened was they wanted to do like some kind of publicity stunt that was somewhat similar to a publicity stunt that I proposed when we were working on a thing. Not exactly the same, but I think they wanted to do it somehow to tie into the promotion for that television show.
Yeah.
And someone from the audience filmed it with a cell phone.
Right.
But they had a big setup. They had like a bunch of real cameras and stuff set up to do it. And that person put it out immediately.
Oh yeah. Oh, it went
like
everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like all over TMZ.
I was getting texts from like civilians, non-comics, right? That were like, Mark, what's going on with this? And I'm like, it's clearly a
something-
staged thing.
Yeah.
It feels exactly that way.
People were reaching out to me. They're like, hey, he put his hand on your shoulder a lot when you guys were recording together. Is he okay? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
No, he's not.
No. Based on that, no.
It's funny too because like whatever the stunt was, they executed super poorly.
Yeah.
And also the release of it got like messed up, and it never was tied to the show in any way.
I know.
It's so bizarre.
It's crazy.
I didn't know it was for that show until just now.
That's what I was gonna say. I didn't know if you guys knew it was for that show.
I didn't know it was specifically
I knew it was
for that show.
for a thing.
Yeah.
but-
yeah. And he said no. They asked him if he would do this, and he said no.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Here's how much money we'll pay you," and he said, "Absolutely."
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Where's the camera?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know what happened with it, but I just brought it up because I'm thinking about the fact that like I think about these videos that go viral all the time.
Yeah.
Because now, what the fuck is up with these fruit flies?
Holy shit. I know. It
This
sucks.
is killing me.
It's
What the hell's
very
going on
annoying.
here?
Yeah.
This is not because of us. We're not gross. We never leave
No.
food in here ever.
I know. We talked about
We
it.
literally. I'm not exaggerating. We never leave anything in here.
Oh no, we treat this like respectable like hikers in a
In a forest.
in a state forest, yeah, where we're like
We're-
leave no trace.
We're pooping in bags and carrying it
yeah.
out.
I put it up in the tree so the bear doesn't eat it.
Brad, there's a bathroom
What?
right out there.
oh,
I do it for fun.
Oh, okay. You're saving them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I've seen people recently. I don't know if you've seen this come up where they'll
I've
go,
seen people, yeah.
I'm going to give all the money that came in from this tweet
Right.
to this.
Yeah.
Right. And I was watching a video, like I was just scrolling on my Facebook, and a video came up, and it was like, this bear had a heart attack in a tree, and it shows a bear fall out of a tree. And it's like, it tried to find help, and it shows it like walking on the road. It's all messed up. It's like this person took it in, and it nursed it back to health. And it told the story that they tell on every one of these animal videos.
Yeah.
Wait, it was trying to find help, but someone was there to film it falling out of a tree.
And I was watching it, and I'm like, how did someone film this bear falling out of a tree?
Yeah.
Like, why would that happen if this is happenstance from a heart attack?
Right.
Then that person filmed on the road, then someone else.
all horseshit,
And
yeah.
I'm like, someone put this video together with using multiple videos they found on YouTube or whatever, and they made up a story, and it has millions and millions of views and hundreds of thousands of likes and shares.
Yeah.
And they're getting paid
Yep.
to make this fake video
Yeah.
of this story. And it's the first time I've ever really noticed like an animal help story being manipulated. Like I just haven't paid attention to that kind of
I
stuff.
mean, there's so many things. Like, there's so many video-based things that are all horseshit.
Yes.
You know, people going out and staging a thing, even staging stuff where they themselves look bad, at just because they know it's going to generate.
Yeah.
It's
right?
crazy. I really, really appreciate this YouTube sketch called Pitch Meetings. And it originally started with Screen Rant, and it's this guy named Ryan George that makes them. I think they're really funny. I really love the tone of them and the spirit of them. And they just basically, have you seen any of them?
Yeah.
I think they're fun. And it just kind of, it tears apart movies, but like in a jolly, fun way. It's very playful. It's not mean.
Jolly?
It's not cynical.
Santa's there?
Yeah. It's not cynical.
Before he
It's just,
before he lost the election.
it's just
Okay.
It's just fun. But he had some other videos he made, and I watched a couple, and they were fun. But one of them, he was like, I went to this TikTok channel, and all they post is military surprise videos where a military guy's back or someone gets an iPhone, but it's all the same. Four or five people,
yeah.
and it's all staged. But they
yeah.
just get millions
Wow.
of views
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're making money doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I mean, there's.
I never even thought of that.
If you let go of the idea of having an issue with lying,
yes,
you can make a lot of money on the internet.
that's really weird. It's really strange.
That's where we are.
Probably also in public service.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and film a military homecoming video with Rosie, and we'll see if she's at all happy to
Well,
see
you have
me.
the uniform, but it's not the right one.
Well, it's just military homecoming. It doesn't have
doesn't
to.
have to
It
say-
doesn't have to
yeah.
be famous in America.
Sure.
You don't know where my home is.
Yeah. Or my homeland.
Yes.
Let's steer a little bit more. Let's turn this sleigh
Ooh.
a little further towards Christmas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying. There was no good transition to this.
By the way, I
or
also,
segue.
but bizarrely, when I worked just briefly on the
Yeah.
subject of reindeer, when I worked at Arkansas,
On the subject of reindeer, I would read that book.
yes, when I was at Arkansas, which is not known for its reindeer population,
Yeah.
the admin who worked my front desk, his name was Adam.
Was that a euphemism?
Nope.
He worked your front desk?
Yeah, well, he worked.
He really worked your front desk.
Yes. He his
Time to
goal.
go to the back office.
He's like, nope, just your front desk.
Just the front
Just the
desk.
front desk.
Sorry,
Somebody
sorry.
else was in charge of the back office. His goal, he's like, I wanna move to Alaska and raise reindeer. And he had all these books about reindeer husbandry and
Yeah.
and I'm like, man, I would love to look him up, but he has such a common last name. He's ungoogleable.
Not if you put
Yeah.
reindeer wrangler after it, though.
I don't know
But
if
this
he-
really
I-
find
I-
a piece of success.
Right.
That's
I don't know if he
yeah.
made it. Like
Pessimism.
Yeah.
Listen to the podcast.
Or what if you read an article that's like, very common name man kills 14 dozen reindeer.
I'd be like, could be him, could be the invisible hand of economics. Like, I don't know which Adam this is. So
I have a question real quick. So please don't attack.
Oh no!
Is the North Pole?
So we've already established.
No, we
wait,
haven't.
No, we
Yeah,
haven't.
we've not. We
established
have
yet.
not.
Okay.
We're going to talk about in a future episode about my feelings about Alaska. Is the North Pole
feelings.
How about your feeling
it's-
that it's not attached to any other land?
Yeah, let me stop before you get the question out and say that the North Pole is its own landmass, not in Alaska. There's a town in
there's
Alaska
just a town
called North
that.
Pole.
That's,
Yeah.
that's a fair question.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I can ask that.
What if
Okay.
there was a North Pole, Alabama?
That'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be.
I don't like it.
I mean,
But what if it was that because the South, like it's people that were like the South shall rise again,
Yeah.
and they're like,
It's like-
no, one day,
Yeah.
this will be the North Pole.
Magnetic North.
I was thinking, this is as north as we get.
Yes.
That's what
This here is the South Pole for South Pole Santa.
Yeah.
South Pole down the street.
Oh, that's from Big Grande. Sorry. South Pole Santa, it's like the opposite of
Yeah.
everything.
Oh, that's fun.
He sits on your lap and he comes and you hear him coming when he goes, oh.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's
That's
very
funny.
silly.
By the
Yeah.
way, Santa Claus, Indiana, also a town.
Is
Oh,
it?
yeah.
No
Brad has
shit.
a lot of crazy
so you
shit
can
over
be
there.
in Santa Claus.
That's cool.
Huh.
Back
Yeah.
then.
Oh, we've talked about that previously on the podcast, like how much of what quality lover
Yeah.
Santa Claus would be.
Yes.
I think Mayor Santa Claus not as
probably not.
generous
Probably
of a
not,
man.
no.
Yeah.
You know?
I forgot. I just remembered. We're trying to put up an old podcast that we never put out as a video before this Christmas.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The North Pole.
Oh,
Chuck and Brad's North Pole podcast party.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was it was a live podcast that we did in Warren, Rhode Island, with Ray and myself as a team versus Brad and Brian Bowden as a team, and Liz Monas.
What a team up.
As great.
Yeah.
birds of a feather.
With Liz Monas as the judge, and we sold out like a fun little dive bar.
Yeah.
We recorded this back in the days of the Chuck and Brad podcast, but we didn't have anywhere to put the video, and we're gonna put it out this year. I just remembered that. That's really fun.
Oh, yeah. Super exciting.
The roast of Tiny Tim and that, man.
That was a lot of
That
fun.
was so fun.
Yeah.
Those
No,
jokes
there's some really good stuff in there.
Yeah, I'm
for
excited
sure.
that's gonna be on the feed. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We'll put it out right after this one.
And speaking of writing jokes, there we go. Now we have a good segue.
Yeah, perfect.
I came across something very Christmassy that I had to bring to the
Oh,
podcast.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I'm so excited for this.
It's embarrassing when you know the backstory, okay?
Ooh.
So this was years ago. I just found this looking for some other writing stuff that we're doing. And I came across it and immediately sense memory of like, I think it might be genuinely the biggest issue that has ever arisen with my in-laws in my
I love
life
this.
with my
I already
wife.
love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kalina and I, my wife, we were living together in Bangor, Maine. We got married in 2009, and it was June. And so that Christmas,
That was when Chuck and I started hanging out. That's weird.
that is weird, huh? But that
kidding.
Christmas,
It's 2008.
I thought it would be funny to write a family Christmas letter. It's
Yeah.
our first Christmas together as husband and wife,
Right?
Yeah.
let me write this thing. At the time, I was doing stand up. I think I had like just really started doing this thing,
Right.
Yeah.
kind of full force. Before that, was in a acoustic comedy duo. So I was in the comedy space, right? And I was doing a lot of comedy, like essay writing and stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought this will be a really funny thing. I'm going to write this family Christmas letter from the Harringtons,
Right.
but it's all clearly a joke.
Yes. And the in-laws are aware of your comedic proclivities.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm like my family,
Yep.
my extended now family. I come from such a small family.
Right.
My mother, grandmother, great grandmother, and at this point, it was just my mother and my grandmother. Now it's just my mom. Oh, once she goes, I gotta fight that Rizzler soon.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I want my mom to be alive when I fight the Rizzler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
You know,
It's,
I want her to see
it's
that.
her lifelong goal to watch her son
Yeah.
whoop the Rizzler.
Yeah.
My son is a TikTok comedian.
Yeah.
to fight
And
every
she,
other-
she doesn't get it. She doesn't get it. She's like, I don't understand. You don't do the Italian accent or anything. How are you a TikTok comedian? More like a Vine comedian. She said that to me.
Wow.
Yeah. No, so I wrote this letter. Yeah.
This is so delicious. To
So
me.
in my head,
and I don't know anything about it, by the way.
coming from a small family who knows me very well,
Sure.
in my stupid brain, as a 20-something, I was like, I'm going to write this. They all know I'm a comedy person.
Yeah.
It's clearly fake.
Yep.
So I wrote it. We printed them all out. It was like every other paragraph was red or green. You know, very Christmassy.
Yeah, very cute. Yeah.
And it's absurd. And I was very happy with the jokes. And so I folded them up and we put them in the Christmas cards we were sending out. And they went out to everybody. And then I found out way later that a good chunk of Kalina's family had no idea that this was comedy. They all read this as real. And it baffles me. To this day, I'm like, how did you think this was reality?
I've had a few things that I thought were funny go in this direction.
Yeah. I think this podcast started as like, we were all kind of in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think 4 episodes in, we were like, we're doing the
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, we started getting sponsorship money and pills from Blue Chew.
Yeah, and we're like, uh-oh.
We're in too deep.
Yeah.
Did you guys get any of those Blue Chew pills?
No.
I did not.
Oh my God. I had the craziest, puffiest boners of all time for so long.
Puffy.
It really puffed me up.
I got to be honest with you, Chuck. puffy does not, in my mind,
They puffed the
say
shit out of
any kind of firmness to it. It's only soft. In fact, like I could see a flaccid penis and go like, you could describe one as puffy if it were like maybe Bee Sting got it.
Well, it's like, you know how you have like the ridges? It's all puffed.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Are we talking about chips now?
What word should I use?
I don't.
You know what? I mean, you don't have
Chubbed
to.
I would take chubbed over puffed.
You don't have to talk about it at all.
Would you
How
take
about that?
chubbed over puffed?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Just to end the conversation.
Oh wow, is this something? The Stay Chubbed Marshmallow Man?
That's their mascot. We're blue shirt.
He's doing that. Whoa, the hat is in a new place.
They're blue mallows.
Oh, that changes the end of Ghostbusters for sure.
They walk up covered in
They're
white.
all covered in it. Oh, Bill Murray got away clean. That was good. Yeah,
that's great.
He only got a little on the cheek. So I brought in this Christmas letter,
Okay.
right? And like I said, it's all red and
That's
green.
amazing.
Right?
Can
So-
I just one thing before we move on from
Yeah,
this?
yeah.
What do you think about me writing an email to Blue Chew and saying that we want to pitch the Stay Chubb Marshmallow Man? Are you okay
Sure.
with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I welcome it.
I
think you should do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember they offered to do like sponsorship like long term and they were like, we'll give you $4 a podcast?
Yeah. And we're like, no. No thanks.
I like good product works.
Yeah. Don't say any more positive stuff because they aren't sponsoring.
I'll write them. And I can't wait for this.
We can reach out to hymns.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can't wait for this. I can't wait
Oh,
for
All right.
this.
I'm going to be Kalina's cousin. You, Chuck, can be Kalina's first husband. Ray, you can. What?
Huh?
He keeps going down this well.
I know. I don't like this little thing.
This whole thing about Brad
There's
talking
gonna-
about people banging Ray's wife. I don't
There's
like
going to
it.
come a
not
moment where
people,
I'm
it's
like,
just you.
hey, man, it's my wife. You know what I mean? Okay, so this is the letter. I'm just going to read it to you.
Okay.
It's been a long time since I made this letter.
I'm so proud of this.
And you will see the time in
All
this,
right.
I'm
like
proud of
right in
you.
the beginning.
Yeah.
And so keep in mind, people who had no idea, apparently, that I was doing this as a goof, they read this as real.
Okay.
Their new in-law is this person.
All right.
That's like maybe some of them I don't think I had met yet. Some I only had met at Kalina's grandmother's funeral.
Oh boy.
A couple were the wedding, right? And so this is what they opened in their Christmas card from us.
All right.
Merry Christmas from the Harringtons. Also, you need to understand there's 5 million exclamation points in this. Like there is not one sentence that ends in a period. And there's like 7 exclamation, but yeah. This has been a big year for America and for us too. We now have a African American president. I'm sure Grandma Jean will be eating her words along with her turkey this Christmas. And we certainly had an exciting summer as Kalina and I were married in June. 700 exclamation points. A rite safely removed from the gays in Maine. Go Jesus. I know you always say, Jesus, turn the other cheek, but that's how they get you, Lord. But it wasn't all fun and games this year for the Harringtons. No, we believe in 3 things in our family. Jesus, Sarah Palin, and giving/sharing/charity/ we're really good people. So we made sure to take time for our community and volunteer at our local homeless shelter. Every 3rd Wednesday of alternating months, we headed down with off-brand canned pumpkin pie mix and informative leaflets about the Republican Party. Our home is a little more full this holiday, brackets Christmas, season. Our new adorable puppy, Marty, named after Martin Luther King and Steve Martin, is a happy addition to the Harrington family. He is little, but he has a big heart. The veterinarian says that is probably due to the worms and should go away in time. You're all invited to attend the baptism next month for the dog, except for Audrey and Dan. You know what you did. Kalina is doing great. After a bit of a scare, it turns out we won't be having a new addition to the family. We thought we were going to have our own Christmas miracle, just like the little baby Jesus being born. Well, this time it wasn't a manger, it was at Planned Parenthood. Even more exciting, the doctors say that with a little luck and a lot of prayer, her new medications should help her feel right as rain, and we won't be having any more episodes like we did at Thanksgiving. Sorry, Jean.
That's insane to put
Yikes.
in there.
There's
That's
also
fucking,
a Jean. There is also an Aunt Jean for real.
That's fucking insane to put in there.
I know.
Like
I know.
I have some of this stuff. I don't think I would ever put abortion stuff in.
I was a little bit of a, I was a little edgelord.
You're a little
back in-
envelope pusher.
Push
Yeah.
those boundaries.
Listen, life moves fast. Okay. And how can I forget the rest of the family? Kalina's parents are doing wonderfully with their tax business, and her father, John, has already been cleared of any responsibility for the economic crisis we're experiencing. My mother is enjoying her work in caring for those with special needs, which is true. She That's her job. With special needs, brackets, the retarded, and even moved in with someone she met at work, brackets. Ed is a co-worker and not one of the special needs, brackets, retarded people.
I'm out at this point. I'm out.
I am in. I want to send it again this year.
Listen, I was a dumb, you know what I mean? Like, I just started comedy stuff
Oh my
where I
God.
had no idea. I wouldn't say pretty much any of this stuff. I don't use the R word. Okay. Trevor, this is why I'm like, how could you believe this is real? Trevor, our youngest, is doing very well.
Right.
He is continually improving, and we're hearing nothing but good news from the staff that work with him. We just found out that he'll be moving back into general population by January.
Yeah.
I'm sure even Grandma Jean would appreciate that, even if she won't admit it. Has it been 2 years already since the trial? Where does the time go?
Yep.
There's been wonderful news about our Cindy as well. When she disappeared last summer, I'm sure you were just as worried as we were. Well, though we haven't heard from her personally, Father Timothy was able to shed some light on the mystery. It seems Cindy made her way into what can only be described as the adult industry. Though we haven't heard from her personally yet, it warmed our hearts to see her on DVD. It's wonderful to know she's alive and becoming a star, it would seem. We always knew she loved the limelight. Oh, and my brother-in-law and his common-law live-in girlfriend, Mike and Becky, liberals, are fine, I'm sure. Which was just a fun little
Yeah.
That's fun.
We wish you all the best this season, and we hope that your year has been just as wonderful and blessed and better than ours, and better than yours than ours has been. It's important to take this time, Christmas or Hanukkah, for our Jewish friend, David, Jesus still loves you, to reflect and count our blessings. We hope you'll take some time to share in the spirit of the season and join us in remembering fondly the year past at our annual New Year's Bash. Due to a conflict in scheduling, this year's Harrington New Year's Eve Bash will be on January 7th. Merry Christmas to all, and Happy Chanukah to David. P.S. We found out Trevor has bad cancer.
That's bad cancer. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
I
it's-
love it. I approve.
It's uncomfortable.
the idea of someone believing that is real,
That's a little nuts.
that's tough.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. But I can also imagine someone getting to a place on that and stopping reading. Maybe around that
Yeah.
Planned Parenthood moment.
Yeah.
I will say, so like we talked about on the podcast, the Holly Jolly Christmas song that we recorded and passed out to people.
Yeah.
And it was so clearly tongue in cheek. And we also included a card that had kind of a similarly toned thing that's so clearly not true.
Yeah.
And people just didn't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't understand it, but some people, I don't know. I don't know the lens through which people
Yeah.
see the world sometimes.
There wasn't a lot of. I look at that and I'm like, not enough jokes. Like,
Sure.
I'm looking at it now as
Yeah.
somebody that has done a lot more comedy since then. I'm like, not enough jokes.
I would put something like
The
first.
directions stunk.
I would put
you know?
something insanely clearly fake in the first
Oh,
sentence
yeah, of
as the
course.
first punchline,
Yes.
just to set the tone.
Right. And I also would not have gone in some of the directions I
Yeah.
did, obviously. But it was, listen, it was 2009.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
That was great.
We were living in a world we had no idea what was to come.
That was great. I
But
thought
yeah,
that was
what
very
a
funny.
what a huge mistake, really. Like, and one that I didn't know I had made
Yep.
for months.
Can I ask you how
Months.
your wife responded to the card?
She liked it. She thought it was funny.
And so so in other words, she
I didn't put the letter in the Christmas cards like without her knowing.
Right.
You know?
so she probably thought her family would know it's a joke. Mm-hmm. And then some people did it. How did that go? How did you find this out?
I think like months down the road, something came up. We were talking about somebody in her family, and
Yeah.
and somehow she brought it up, or it came up organically, the letter, and she was like, she thought it was real.
It's so funny because that means for a long time, that opinion of you was just like believed that was really you for a while for a bunch of people.
Yeah, that I was like a piece of shit. Right? And I think about Kalina's aunt and her wife that are wonderful people. I love them so much. Aunt Andy is like my aunt. I feel like that connection with her and her wife, Susan. The idea that the two of them could receive that letter and think that's me, hurts.
Yeah, it's mortifying.
I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
So that was a real egg on my face situation where I was like, here's a fun little goof.
It's funny. There's some in my past.
Eggnog on your face.
Christmas.
Yeah, eggnog on your face. That's good.
I think it was Stay Puffed on my face.
Stay chubbed on my face.
Stay chubbed.
Stay chubbed. I want to. I'm gonna have to do a deep dive because I feel like that has happened to me. But outside of the Holly Jolly Christmas thing, I can't remember what that would be.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that it has. I know that it has.
Oh, it's absolutely happened to me. Usually in work situations that leads to a follow-up email of, hey, I thought what I was doing was clearly comedy. It did not come across that way. I recognize that intent does not equal
mass over speed.
What is it? What is it? Intent, impact. And
sure.
And I'm so sorry for anyone who is upset. I will learn from this and be better.
That is hilarious.
I've probably had to send emails like that. I would say 3 times in my 16 years at UMass.
That's amazing.
It's a thing, and I think we all understand that thing where I think we get it a lot as people on this podcast, but also people in a public sphere. I know I've gotten many people, even face to face in person, that will make an insulting joke to me
because they think they have carte blanche.
Yeah, they're like, we're good.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We're good. Like sometimes we'll get like a message or an email for the podcast, and because it's a podcast and people feel so connected to the people.
Yep.
And they're like, well, let me play around the way you guys play around. We'll like sometimes read something and we're like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? Like that kind of feeling.
We got one recently and I responded to it and I said, wow, 2 insults from me in one email or something like that.
I think there was also when there was a younger musician who looked up to Chuck's band, and the first time he was hanging out, I think one of his things was like, we're going to tell Brad there's a hot blonde from in the basement, then we're going to blindfold him. He's going to go down there and it's going to be a dog. Like, and that was what he thought like the comedy was. And also like, I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah, you hated that.
I did, and I do.
When Brad became involved with Senior Discount, and his character in our videos was a antagonist and clearly a joke. People definitely insulted him and came at him in a way that you did not like.
No.
Because when they see that this is the way that people engage with you, they think, well, this is the way I engage with you.
Yeah.
But as a stand-up comic, I mean, the cliche, the stereotype is like the person coming up after a show, usually a man, usually middle-aged, going, I got a joke for you, and then saying the most racist or homophobic thing in the world.
Let me tell you about these Italians.
Yeah, that's how I met Chuck after a show. He's like, I got a joke for you. Are you familiar with Brad Rohr? Right? That's how it started. I'm like, what? And then 45 minutes of him explaining, and then he was like, so.
Hot dogs.
Trust me,
it's
going to be a thing.
Your kids are going to like it.
Yeah. But no, it is a thing. Like people will come up, and every once in a while, someone will say something genuinely insulting.
Yeah.
Truly to its core, just a piece of shit move.
Yes.
I've had occasion where a guy will say something, and this has happened multiple times. His wife will be like, Chris, what the fuck? Like, get mad at him because I'm just like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? And it's someone who enjoyed the show.
Yep.
Is wanting to engage, like, hey, I could do some gentle ribbing. You know what I mean?
I know.
I remember I was in West Hartford, Connecticut, where I'm sort of like from, right? I was born in Connecticut, and I grew up in West Hartford until Newington area until I moved in 3rd grade. My dad was at that show, which is really weird. I don't. It's a weird relationship. It's kind of estranged / not, and it's a weird thing. And he came to the show, and like, so that was already in my head, And then after the show, my aunt was there, who I have no real memory with, but she's a really nice woman.
Sure.
She's very close with my mom. They're cousins, and it was a really nice thing, right? I believe cousins. I don't remember. She was nice. It was really nice to see her. So lovely. And then there was a little group that wanted to take a picture. And I was like, sure, and it happens. People want to take a selfie or they want a little group photo.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do it.
Yep.
No problem.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the picture with them, and there's a guy that was at the show, again, middle-aged man in the group, and we're ready to take the picture. And he said something about, somebody had said something about, moving their arm, or maybe his arm was like in his wife's boob. You know what I mean? Like elbowing it a little. And right as the picture is being taken, he made some kind of joke about me being fat and having like man boobs, right? I don't even remember what it was, but it was genuinely just insulting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just shitty. And I'm standing there like posing for this picture. I'm like, yeah, ha ha ha. You know what I mean? And it just sucks. It really, really sucks.
Oh, dude.
It sours everyone in the group was just like, ugh.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like the thing I chuckled about afterwards was like, I know the drive home.
Yeah.
I know
yeah.
the drive home where
Yeah.
he's going to hear about making that joke. But it's just it is a weird thing. So yeah, I made a real boo boo sending that family letter. It's an unfortunate thing.
Two things. One, I want to find something that's similar to that. Thank you.
Sorry, we have a signal for when we get to an hour, and Chuck created it, and it's a big circle.
It's a
and
full clock.
It's a full clock.
So when you do a half, this is 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and this is 60 minutes. This is
Okay.
where you are.
Yeah.
And then every 30 minutes you could do this again if you were longer. But it's a good.
If you had an extra hand,
Yeah.
you would do this, and then also you do your third hand, you do that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I guess that-
This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you slam it down at your crotch.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I would like to
90
find
seconds.
something that I did that was like that. I would really like to find that.
Or create it now.
Yep.
I want to. I was thinking about this before. So for the Halloween episode this year, we did the thing with your live journal thing. Not exactly live journal, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It was like
that invasive
yeah,
weird
yeah.
thing that you did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to bring in stuff from my journal from high school because I have the whole thing in my basement, and I'm like, I got to find something to be like, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do something on my own, which I think would be fun.
I don't know. There's an element there though, because you would be sort of self-censoring, even if your intention was like, no, I'm going to bring in the embarrassing stuff.
Yeah.
If you bring it to the table,
You could look at it,
it's less powerful, I think.
but it's kind of a pain
Because
to
I
look at it.
didn't like volunteer up the
Yeah,
the
you
things,
didn't pick the passages.
Yeah. We already have a plan, though. It does get close. I think you can bring it because Brad and I have been talking. We have had a plan for a while as a
Yeah.
bit of a prank on you. We're going to bring in some of the court depositions.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
And we're
that's
going to
fun.
read them.
Hilarious.
And
That
we're
is
going to
fun.
get a court stenographer
yeah.
because the emotionless read back
Yes.
is so funny.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
it's so
fun.
fun because you get really heated on the stand.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that about Chuck. He
Right.
gets extremely defensive on the stand.
He's more flustered.
but
Yes.
you turn into, like, I guess the only way to describe it is a petulant toddler.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, there's a
Right?
lot of this.
Yeah. I
that-
don't even. You're like, I don't even know what that question means.
Yeah. I went through media training, but I came up with the program. So it's the, and
Yeah.
it says in the media training that it gets you out of everything, but
Yeah.
it didn't work.
well, not
Any
in
time
court,
I
yeah.
used
Can you
it.
read that back?
Yeah.
Yes. Defendant, I think your mother did.
Yeah.
Accused, prosecuting attorney. Very funny. Please get back to the question. Did you see her that night? Defendant, I saw your mom that night. Prosecutor, again, Charles Staten, I'm going to ask you to please. Right?
Defendant,
Over,
well
over.
then why don't I just... Yeah.
Oh no, you have to do it emotionless. Well,
Why-
then why don't I just
go-
kill myself? Sob, sob, sob. Prosecutor, Jesus Christ, pull yourself together.
Prosecutor, okay, we'll put lettuce on your baconator.
Tomatoes.
Defendant, please just do the gavel now. Prosecutor, that's not how any of this works.
But I was gonna say, similar to your wedding thing.
I know a guy with a gavel.
Similar to your wedding thing.
Yeah.
We just had Brian Johnson on the podcast.
Yeah.
And I think he was the best man for Walt's wedding, Walt Flanagan. And he did a wedding speech that was entirely based around pretending that Walt's wife discovered him at the depths of his drug addiction and helped him out of it.
That's fun.
And no one, I don't think anyone took it as a joke at the wedding.
Yeah.
And they were like confused about it and thought it was like a revelation. And
Yeah.
I think it was like not great.
Yep.
I don't remember
man.
the exact facts, but I know that happened and they've talked about it. I mean, I'm like, that is so delicious, man.
When my best friend from high school time got married, I was the best man. And in my best man speech, I copped to everything we had done in high school
Yep.
that we were keeping secret from his parents.
Nice.
Like every single thing. And the gist was like, the statute of limitations is over.
Yeah.
He's now a married man.
Yeah, that's funny.
You can't ground him.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
But apparently, like one or two of the things, like everybody loved it, and
Yeah.
then like one or two of the things, like his parents were like, "What the fuck?"
of course,
You set that post office on fire, and you're like, we were in 6th grade.
it's so hard to tell. It is hard to gauge how other people are going to react to that stuff. I do
Yeah.
think it's such a funny take, but it's so hard to gauge how
Yeah.
people are going to
Well, you
react.
guys have gone over the top too. I know there's the story of the porn
Yep.
Ooh, Brad
and
doesn't like to
making
bring that up.
burning DVD. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh
should
no, we
not
didn't.
bring
We
it up?
didn't. The DVD thing was fake. That was fake.
Okay.
As a stunt.
Got it.
Of
Yep.
handing it out to people.
Okay.
That was a. It's funny because it's hard to explain without explaining the whole story. But basically, we created this thing that
Yeah.
Brad didn't like.
Yes.
And at a live show, we discussed it and aired it,
Yeah.
censored. And then at the end, the reveal was that we had taped a copy of it to everyone's chair
Yeah,
under
look
it.
underneath
This thing
your
that Brad
seat,
didn't
yeah.
want. But here's the thing. The discs were blank, but there was a link, like a hyperlink to go to a file that said that it was that file.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So when you typed it in, it was a video of me, like scolding you for trying to get
you're
access to
disgusting
this
for wanting to
again.
see that. Yeah, no, that's fun. That is fun.
That was a good turn for
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I know in the story, because I didn't know you guys at this
No, it
point,
was-
but
yeah.
in the story, there were people at the show.
Yeah, caused problems with me and my friendships.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of them. A lot of them.
I'm sorry. I wasn't here for it.
No, it's all right.
I
Chuck knows.
If it makes you feel better, I probably would have said like, that's a little too far.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you
we wouldn't have done it.
Think about it. The thing you just wrote.
Yep.
By the way, it was like the same time
But
as
I
that.
learned. See, here's the difference.
it was back
Chuck.
then.
I learned from this.
It was
It was like 2014.
2000.
It was 300 episodes in, and we started our podcast in 2009.
So it was okay. So hold on.
and
It
I
was way
learned
closer
from
to
mine.
this.
I learned from mine.
I never did it again.
I just did a lot of similar things. Some would say worse. In fact, let's check with that stenographer again.
I just did a lot of similar things. Some would say worse.
I did a lot of similar things.
Judge, some would say worse. Boys, we've had a fun time. It's been a lovely Christmas ride with you.
You know, I'm excited for our real Christmas episode, our official Christmas episode.
This was the fake Christmas
Yes.
episode
This
for our
was-
fake friends. Our real
you know
friends
what?
are going to
Let's
be
let
with
them behind the curtain. Can I do that?
Sure, let's open this Santa sack and we'll see what's inside.
When we're planning our Christmas episodes, we say, "What's our official Funbearable Christmas episode?
Yeah.
What's our Christmas pitch episode?"
Mm-hmm.
Which we've done every year now. And what's our casual Christmas episode?
Yep.
Which is this. It's
This
a
is it,
regular
yeah.
Funbearable episode where the topics are Christmas related.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
what it is. And I think that's fun. Like
Yeah.
I said, I think it's a
All
fun
the
thing.
Christmas related things. We had Mussolini, Pol Pot. We had a Planned Parenthood joke.
Yeah.
We had
No, I really think that's an all-star moment of the podcast. You did a great job.
it is something when I told you guys about it, I didn't tell you what it was that
Yeah.
was in the thing, but I said it's like I pranked myself.
Yeah.
You know what?
Because that's what it felt like.
Oh, it's great. It's awesome. It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to think about all the things that I've done that I maybe regret, like what you just brought up. All the things Brad's done, which he might regret.
All of them.
See, this is a difference, and I think
No, because he's done some shitty things. He like destroyed them
Yes.
recently. He told
Yeah.
me about
Yeah.
it. And you've done some things you regret.
Yeah.
But we're all older. But it'd be interesting. I'm not saying we should do this to grade them and see who's done the worst things.
that's such a bad instinct. You know what I mean? I think
Ray, that letter is S tier.
right up there. It's
If you disagree, check us out. Leave a comment so that Ray can fight the Rizzler.
One like is yes, it is bad. One heart is it's even worse.
And one share means it's the worst.
The worst. Yeah. No, but I think you brought up an interesting point here. There's a wrinkle in this little sack.
Especially Brad's.
Yeah. Oh, so wrinkly.
More wrinkle than sack.
That's the name of this episode.
No, it's not.
So I think there is a difference with like you said, the things that you feel regret about that you did, and Brad's stuff that Brad did that he feels regret, and something happened there. You went immediately like everything, right?
Yeah.
So the regret is heavier. But I would posit there's probably stuff that you've done where you're like, oh, I don't have regret about that, and we're both like,
You should.
well, you should. Yeah.
Or the other way around.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe.
There's some things that
I like your
said.
response that was like, yeah, but what if it was you?
Well, I'm just thinking, like, yeah, that's interesting.
It is interesting.
Well,
I've
that's why you put it to the table, though, because the table votes. It's not
Yeah.
really about the person's viewpoint on it.
Are we just back ending and then we're going to get all the way around to recreating boy crimes again?
Yeah,
I think that's what this is.
I'll say I've gotten to apologize to most, but not all of the people that I was needlessly cruel to.
Yeah, some of them have passed, and
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
A lot of them have
Listen,
passed.
Abigail Adams, I'm so sorry I tried to punch you and inadvertently punched your husband, John Adams, the second president of the United States of
And
America.
can I ask you a question? A serious question. Do you feel regret over your actions during McCarthy era Red Scare tactics?
No, because if I hadn't spoken up, who's to say that communism wouldn't have spread throughout Hollywood and the United States?
Do you have any regrets yelling at that little black girl that was trying to go to school?
I do. Listen, I got her name wrong.
Do you regret not getting?
Hold on, I'm not going to say what you called her on this, but that you knew that wasn't
That's
his
not
name.
a name. Do you regret not getting up out of your seat so Rosa Parks can sit down? I like this idea. Ooh. This is an interesting thing.
History's defendant.
Let me just back into real quick bad character.
Yep.
You know how I sometimes bring bad characters to the
Yep.
table?
Yeah.
This character is the guy that wouldn't get up when Rosa Parks wanted to sit down, right?
Yep.
And she had to move to the back of the bus.
Yep.
Just like the song. This is that character. You ready? Well, I had a big part in it. And nobody ever thanks me. If it weren't for me and that stubborn driver, no history would have been made.
That's good.
But no, I do think that's an interesting.
Yep.
No,
take.
that's funny.
That's weird. I don't like any of this. Let's send this episode to all of my in-laws.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we get it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. He's struggling.
Oh, he's a bad man.
Oh yeah, he's not in a good place.
You know that Chuck's a bad influence on him.
he really is.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, natural lull.
Yeah. I didn't know if Chuck wanted to talk about his bizarre Christmas situation this year.
No, it's okay. I was just, it was one of the things we were kind of kicking around. We were talking about the casual Christmas. I just was like, I've basically been in a relationship for most of the past like 2 decades. And so as I'm sure you deal with, you kind of deal with the split of my family, my significant other family,
Yeah.
and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Brad has to travel back to Indiana every year to do that. And this year, I didn't even think about it until it started coming up on me. But like, my girlfriend's in Colorado, so I'm going to go visit her during the month of December. Yeah, she's going to come here, and I'm also going to have to go to Chicago to see her family, and I have to be in New York and Rhode Island.
Yeah.
So my Christmas travel this year is like, and by the way, I got it last night on a phone call. It's like, hey, can you head out to LA to scout this location before the next time you go to Colorado? And I'm like, I'm down to do it, but what is my life around the holidays this year?
Right. Yeah.
It's just like, it's just so crazy. And I was going to say, are there any particularly stressful travel situations that we've encountered around the holidays?
Yeah.
But I figured we had enough stuff with Ray's stuff, so I didn't really bring it up.
No, that's fair. I mean, I as a comic, I try and book more regional around Christmas time.
I think that's
just
pretty
so I
common.
can make sure, and I don't want to be away from home and not make it back or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have filming gigs like up until Christmas too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I mean, I don't have a job, so I have to ship myself freight to Indiana this year.
Oh no.
It's
Like
I've
a
got
Muppet.
I've got a blanket, so I'll probably be okay.
Maybe bring an extra one.
Yeah.
All right, 2 blankets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it wasn't a big topic. It was just I'm breathing down the fact of like these are all the plane tickets I'm buying.
Yeah, yeah.
These are the days that I'm like film, drive, sleep, film, this, but like this place,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh, this
it's
is
like
gonna be
it's like being an OnlyFans person's like boyfriend. You know what I mean? You're just like, I got to drive all these places, film, shoot, sleep, film, shoot. Oh my god.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Acquire the stay chubbed marshmallows.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
my cameras are all slippery.
Yeah.
But maybe for next year's Christmas casual, if we have any funny Christmas travel stuff, we can think about it.
Can I
know
give
what
you a tip
Yeah.
for the travel this year? When you're in those airports, do yourself a favor. Change your Talkboy batteries before you get to the airport.
That's
Good thinking.
fair.
Problem solved.
Good
That
thinking.
is fair.
Problem solved. It was the batteries all along.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I was such a nerdy. Me and Brad are more similar than people think. I was so bratish, especially when I was a kid, that when they came out with the real Talk Boys,
Yeah.
I was so annoyed that the battery case was different than the way the batteries
That's
entered
really
the Talk
fun.
Boy. in
Did
the
you have a
movie.
Talk Boy?
Of course, I love the Talk Boy.
I had a Talk Boy as well.
I
I
want
did
one
not.
again so bad.
We were very similar, and then 2 roads diverged in a wood.
No.
Yeah.
I put me and Brad were 2 lambs, and then I put on like a wolf pelt as I got older to be like the cool stuff. And then, but I'm still Brad inside.
I like that in your analogy, you're still not actually the cool wolf.
Yeah, no.
You just pretend to be, which is oddly accurate. It really is. And then the other sheep are like, Jesus.
Bizarrely,
All the other sheep are like, oh my God.
he's pretending to be a wolf again. I'm a sheep that's has never been shorn, and so I'm just like,
yes, the nail.
I'm
Have you
under,
seen that movie?
Yeah.
Never been shorn?
Never been shorn. I'm under so much wool weight that I'm like, ooh, I'm so sad.
And then there's this wolf in sheep's clothing. No, sorry, a sheep, in wolf's clothing just next to him. Like, I'm so cool. And everybody's like, oh God.
He's
And then
hitting a little sheep jukebox.
Imagine, if you will, a sheep with a wolf's skin on, standing on a little tiny hill going, guys, look, guys, look.
Ooh, I'm a big scary wolf.
Guys, look, guys. And you're blowing down a popsicle stick house. Yeah.
Look out.
Look. And it doesn't fall. And then you just like with one hoof, just go and knock it over.
Oh.
Can we get Pixar on the line? Because I think we have a movie.
That's not bad.
It isn't bad. All we have to do to make it an actual Pixar film, it's very simple. We take the exact same concept, and then we also have an actual wolf in sheep's clothing, feeling really out of place where would they live.
Oh, there's got to be a heartbreaking backstory.
and
at
then
some
we're
point.
gonna
Yeah.
turn, and then and everything's good. Maybe the actual wolf is like a teenager, but their mom has been dead, and the father can't connect quite enough.
What
you
if?
know?
Well, it'd
need
probably get us in trouble.
trauma.
The idea of a trans allegory of a wolf in sheep's clothing or a sheep in wolf's clothing. I don't know. I
think that allegory.
We're not the people to do it.
That allegory is used, I think, by the other side. I think that's a J.K. Rowling defense.
Okay. Well,
like, you know what they are? They're wolves in sheep clothing.
Well, we're a sheep in wolf's clothing, though. We're the other side.
True.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So take that, Rowling.
I'm gonna stick with this.
Keep rolling.
I'm gonna stick with the Stay Chubb Marshmallow Man. That's my endeavor.
I think that's where we peaked. For sure, that's where we peaked.
Well, folks out there, thank you for joining us for this casual Christmas episode. If you have comments on anything that we've talked about today, almost anything we've talked about today, send us an email, funbearables@gmail.com.
he doesn't want to get emails.
Most of
about
those
the
emails,
Bradford.
most of those emails are just going to be like, "Why did you say that?"
Yeah, of course. Oh no, you know what?
What?
Did you ever do something that you felt was like an innocent joke like this?
Yeah.
And it went poorly.
I mean, it's kind of boy crimes,
It's
but basically, yeah.
similar. But it's
And
great.
if-
Boy
and
social crimes.
Depending on the crime or the age, maybe they end up in a boy crimes episode.
Yep.
That's great.
Imagine a holiday. Ooh, we should have talked about this ahead of time.
holiday
A
boy-
holiday-themed boy crimes.
I
We're
know.
ready for next year.
Shit.
We are. I will say, just to put it out there to the Fun Bears, I think for Valentine's Day we're going to do another Love Doctors episode. I don't know if we called it that. I just said that, but I don't know why it came out of my mouth.
Boy Valentine's.
Where Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day.
That's really funny.
That is funny.
But we're going to take questions about love, sex, and relationships and answer them
Yeah.
on our Valentine's Day episode again. So get them ready. Send them in right now if you want to. It's
Yeah.
fine.
That was the weird X-rated cut of trains, planes, and automobiles.
Yeah.
Was love, sex, and what was the other one?
Relationships.
Relationships. Love, sex, and relationships.
Yeah.
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 Steve Martin's so funny in Love, Sex, and Relationships.
I don't know about funny.
Hilarious.
Wiry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, bony.
Yeah. And I will say Candy had the stamina. Mm-hmm. I was impressed.
Yep.
Candy had the stamina.
Thank you all for hanging out with us. For Ray Harrington and Chuck Staten, I'm Brad Roy.
Please do it. Please do it.
Thank you so much, and we're sorry for being Funbearable.
Oh my God. That's good. Oh my God. It's the Dice Man himself.
I don't do voices.